This your boy John the Liquidator coming back with another video. Look like the Indiana Fever front office has a tough hand to deal with this offseason. New information has been revealed about free agency guys. For this one here, we got to go all the way up to Indy. Let's get it.
The Indiana Fever just walked straight into the wildest offseason mess the WNBA has ever seen. While the world cheers Caitlin Clark for shattering records, the front office is sweating bullets, trapped between choices that could either spark a dynasty or completely waste the most hyped player in women's basketball. And the countdown's already started. What fans don't get is this: the Fever's roster isn't just messy, it's borderline disaster territory. They were inches from the WNBA finals, then boom, everything crumbled. Now they're staring down a perfect chaos cocktail: broken stars, dying contracts, and a CBA freeze that's locked the entire league in place. But here's the twist nobody dares mention.
They have a lot to deal with this offseason, but more importantly, they got a lot of revamping to do, man. Nearly making it to the WNBA finals, finishing pretty much at the semifinals, losing superstar player Caitlin Clark. Answers are going to be had in regards to this offense, man. Kelsey Mitchell went down.
3 straight years of massive roster shakeups. Totally normal, right? Please. Real championship teams don't rebuild every single summer. But the Indiana Fever have basically lived in panic mode ever since drafting Caitlin Clark. And now, they're gambling with fire, deciding whether to keep Kelsey Mitchell. You're thinking, wait, why is that even up for debate? She's literally their second best player. Exactly. That's the trap. Because when Caitlin Clark went down injured in July, something shocking happened. The offense didn't crash, it transformed. Mitchell, Artie McDonald, and Sydney Colson all rose up. The squad suddenly realized they could survive just fine without Clark steering the ship. And that little
front office is definitely looking like deer in the headlights as they make a decision to keep superstar player Kelsey Mitchell and try to land more. Articles has been released, kind of breaking this whole thing down, dog. That's what we finna go over right now. Let's pull it up.
looking like deer in headlights. Yeah, that's the vibe exactly. The front office swore they'd crack the code, build around Caitlin Clark, surround her with shooters, cruise to the finals. Then reality smacked them right in the face. Kelsey Mitchell stumbled running point, and the roster? Absolutely wrecked by injuries. And here's the part that should make Fever fans lose sleep. Multiple insiders claim those injuries weren't random bad luck. They were the price of Stephanie White's burnout-style coaching. Fast pace, full throttle, stars playing max minutes. Sure, it works. Right up until bodies start falling apart. Now the front office is trapped with a brutal choice. Rebuild the whole machine.
Here, it felt like the Indiana Fever season had ended right there. But thanks to the Fever willpower, matched with Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston's brilliance and Stephanie White coaching, the team kept fighting. But after a heartbreaking exit, attention has already shifted to what's next. With the CBA negotiation casting certainly across
Watch
the
how
league.
The story flips here. The Fever's grit, powered by Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston's brilliance, gets all the credit. Notice anything missing? Caitlin Clark's name. That's not some editing error. That's intentional. When Clark went down, the media started spinning a brand new tale. The Fever didn't win because of their superstar. They won because of their depth. And that storyline? It's a contract time nightmare. If Mitchell thinks she just proved she can lead a team solo, what's to stop her from chasing a max deal? Or worse, testing free agency where she's the main attraction?
After Caitlin Clark injury, the Indiana Fever, otherwise known for their flashy and fast-paced style, had to make some adjustments. It wasn't a complete overhaul. To me, I think it was an overhaul, bro. They lost pretty much their whole damn roster.
2 massive roster choices could define the Fever's entire offseason, and calling that an understatement barely covers it. So let's pull back the curtain on what's actually happening behind the scenes. Decision 1, Kelsey Mitchell's contract. She's unrestricted free agent material, fresh off a season proving she's way more than just a spot-up shooter next to Caitlin Clark. Decision 2, Rebuilding depth after an injury apocalypse blew their rotation to pieces. But wait, there's a secret third decision nobody's saying out loud. Stick with Stephanie White's high-speed system, or overhaul everything to protect that $28 million investment in Caitlin Clark, because both can't exist. You can't run 40 games.
Balance between maintaining the identity that took them within the game of the WNBA Finals and continuing to build the roster around their superstar Caitlin Clark. Now, with that being said, before Caitlin Clark injury, most of the Fever offense flowed through her. Well, that's kind of not true, man. The offense did
Listen
not
to
flow
this
through
wild contradiction. It wasn't a total overhaul. Really? Please. It was absolutely an overhaul. They lost nearly their entire roster to injuries. He literally stumbles mid-sentence because the official story doesn't line up with reality. The Fever want fans to think they made clever adjustments. The truth? They were drowning in crisis mode. Caitlin Clark, gone. Their whole offensive heartbeat, gone. Artie McDonald, their defensive spark, ACL torn. The carefully tuned rotation they bragged about? Completely wrecked. And here's what truly haunts the Indiana front office. They have no clue which version of their own team is real. Is the real Fever the one that nearly reached the finals with Clark?
They had Caitlin Clark off the ball a lot of the time, and it wasn't that they lacked teamwork, but Clark was naturally the primary indicator and playmaker. After she went down, things shifted. Mitchell, Ari McDonald, Sydney Colson, and even Sophie all took turns to shoulder the responsibility and pretty much be the bench to kind of keep everything going.
Now we're peeling back the real issue. Everyone swears the Fever's offense revolved around her. Yeah, not exactly, man. That's just the myth. The offense didn't really flow through Caitlin Clark. Half the time she was off the ball. And that's the crucial piece everyone keeps missing. The Fever never built a pure Caitlin Clark offense. They built a system that used her as a setup artist and playmaker, but never truly unleashed her scoring power. And when she went down, they stumbled upon something wild. Their offense was way more flexible than anyone expected. Multiple players stepped up as creators. The ball zipped around, and the structure didn't crumble. But that revelation sparked a cruel question. If your machine runs fine without the superstar...
2026 season, keeping all this in mind, the Indiana Fever front office need to balance their roster as it comes for the 2026 season. Sure, their priority should be to sign nobody else other than Kelsey Mitchell, but it goes on to say, how can the Indiana Fever improve its roster?
Sydney, and even Sophie all took turns carrying the load. Hear that phrase, took turns? Yeah, that's not strategy. That's survival. And that's exactly where the Fever's front office is sinking, in psychological quicksand. Those desperate survival mode stretches blew everyone's value sky high. Artie McDonald proved she could run point like a real starter before the injury. Sydney Colson showed she's way more than a bench filler. Kelsey Mitchell? She looked every bit like a #1 option. And every single one of those breakout moments just made this off-season pricier and messier. The Fever's depth basically rescued their season, sure, but now it could wreck their finances. Because here's the cruel math.
The Fever can use this time to set its targets for the next season. Yes, there are a lot of uncertainty. God. But their next priority should be to stock up guards. CC is coming back. But I feel like Ari McDonald is definitely going to be somebody they're going to have to get signed. Pretty sure her stock went up. But the type of injury she had, we don't know if she's going to come back and be the same.
The Indiana Fever front office is walking a tightrope heading into the 2026 season, trying to balance a roster that's one wrong move from disaster. Their top priority? Forget everyone else. Lock down Kelsey Mitchell. Period. This is the make-or-break moment, the one that decides the entire franchise's fate. Sign Mitchell to a max deal and they're going all in on the two-star blueprint. Clark and Mitchell as co-headliners, with everyone else playing backup. Let Mitchell walk, and they're wagering everything on Caitlin Clark as a solo superstar expected to drag a roster of role players to a title. There's no gray area, no let's wait and see. The CBA freeze has the whole league on pause, but once that deal drops, every franchise with a checkbook will chase Kelsey Mitchell. And the Fever must decide right now.
But I feel like Ari McDonald is definitely going to be somebody they're going to have to get signed. Pretty sure her stock went up, but the type of injury she had, we don't know if she's going to come back and be the same, too. Goes on to say another positive thing of bringing back her. She's already familiar with Cambridge. She's already familiar with the system. And, and the other tough thing will be none other than signing who?
Listen to that shaky tone. Pure uncertainty dripping from every word. There's doubt all around, yet the next move is obvious. The Fever need guards, and fast. Caitlin Clark will return, sure, but Artie McDonald is now a must-sign. No questions asked. That's where the dominoes start falling. It's not just about Kelsey Mitchell anymore. It's McDonald, too, whose value exploded before that brutal ACL tear. Can she return as the same player? That's the million-dollar mystery. Meanwhile, reality hits. The Fever must secure multiple guards, rebuild their front court depth, boost bench scoring, and somehow fix their defensive balance, all under a shrinking clock once the CBA finally unfreezes. Other teams are scheming, plotting, building their Now watch this plot twist. The narrative just flipped on its head. Caitlin Clark was officially named to the AP's all-time starting five in women's college basketball. Read that lineup. Cheryl Miller, Candace Parker, Brianna Stewart, Diana Taurasi, and Caitlin Clark. That's not just a career achievement. That's a pressure bomb waiting to explode. Because now it's not about building a good team around Clark. It's about crafting a full-blown championship dynasty around one of the top 5 college players ever. And here's where the Fever just stepped into a psychological minefield. Caitlin's college legacy? Untouchable. She shattered records, rewrote history, carved her face onto the Mount Rushmore of women's hoops. But her WNBA story? Still blank pages. If the Fever mess up this offseason, lose Mitchell, fail to build depth, Caitlin...
To Lisa Leslie told it like it was. And let's listen to what Lisa Leslie said about Kathy.
And the trophy, and it's Kathy Engelbert, the commissioner. And when she announces her, she is handedly, loudly booed. And for those in the arena, they said they couldn't even hear her.
Wow.
WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert.
Thank you, Holly. Well, we're here today to celebrate a champion. Thank you to all the fans. Phoenix had a great run to get here. And I just want to congratulate the Aces on a performance. 2025 WNBA chip.
For me, it's the players' faces. Like recognizing what's going on.
She did well, though. She kept her cool. She finished what she had to say, and she was strong in that moment because that was serious and that was loud. I don't even think I realized it was that loud. I do feel bad for Kathy because nobody wants to experience not being a well-liked commissioner of any league. The other flip side to it was in response to the fans really supporting the players. It's kind of cool because we know that the fans are listening and they're paying attention and they see that these rafters are full all the way to the top, that they're sellouts, and they want for the players to reap the benefits also. So you think about the CBA and you think about, I think one of the most important things is profit sharing. I think that's going to be important because fans want to know that these players are being paid also and that they're sharing in the success of all of the hard work that everybody did. You know, nobody wants negative stuff, whether it's in real life or on social media, but I wasn't mad at the fans.
Caitlin's pro-career risks becoming another haunting what if. The front office isn't just juggling contracts. They're literally juggling basketball history interview 12-4-6-14-39, and now we've hit the part everyone's too scared to say out loud, the commissioner problem. Kathy Engelbert got booed so ferociously during the championship ceremony that people inside the arena literally couldn't hear her speak. Lisa Leslie tried spinning it, saying the fans were just supporting the players. Please. Let's call it what it really is, a tot.